J.J. McCarthy. So the Vikings traded Sam Darnold to the Seahawks, obviously, and this leaves J.J. McCarthy next up to start. Shaun, I believe you coached J.J. McCarthy at IMG, I believe, correct?
I did. And
yeah. So what are your thoughts on his potential as the Vikings starting quarterback?
Well, here's a part of the conversation that the average Joe won't acknowledge. Mm-hmm. It looked like JJ was beating Sam Darnold out before he got hurt in the preseason last year. All the momentum was that JJ's having a great camp. He had just had the really, really good preseason game. And the word on the street was he was going to be the opening day starter and Sam Darnold was going to be his backup.
Right.
Now, JJ gets hurt with a season-ending injury, so we'll never know in totality if that was true or not. But obviously what they've seen from JJ made them believe that we can't invest in Darnold even in a short-term window because of what we think about J.J. McCarthy. Mm-hmm. So you have to go by what the Vikings have done. If they didn't think J.J. McCarthy was ready, either health-wise, talent-wise, or preparedness-wise, then they would have given Sam Darnold the contract that Seattle gave him.
Right. Yeah, that's a great point, Shaun. And going into JJ as a player, what do you like about his game as a quarterback? What do you don't like? And how do you think he fits into the Vikings offense now that Sam Darnold's gone? And obviously they brought in two pieces in free agency, big offensive line signings, and going along with Christian Darrisaw and others on that offensive line. How do you feel about JJ fitting into that offense as well?
I think he's Brock Purdy with a better arm. And here's what I mean by that. If Brock Purdy, knowing what we know now, was drafted in the first round, everybody would be like, San Francisco made a great pick.
Right.
He's proven to be their starting quarterback. They're about to pay him franchise quarterback money. He's not a top 5 guy, but hell, there's not a whole lot of top 5 guys walking the planet. Mm-hmm. J.J. McCarthy, and I mean Brock Purdy because he's a football junkie. Brock Purdy's a football junkie. Their understanding the game of football is elite. Brock Purdy's a much better athlete than people give him credit for. J.J. McCarthy is a much better athlete than people realize. They're about the same size and stature, build. Only thing is the ball is more live coming off of JJ's arm than it is Brock. Where Brock has to throw with anticipation to get the ball down the field, JJ has a above average arm.
Man, and Vikings fans have to be excited about that, hearing that. And that's something you mentioned in the beginning. Looked like JJ was beating out Sam Darnold. Now I got to ask you, Sam Darnold this season won 14 games in this Vikings offense. Now with them going in next season, arguably the best wide receiver duo in the NFL, hell of an offensive line. Defense, I think, is improving. Obviously brought in a couple defensive tackles, Jonathan Allen and others as well. The potential of the Vikings this season of J.J. McCarthy at the helm, are you confident going into this season? Do you think they'll end up signing Aaron Rodgers? There's a lot of talk of that. How do you feel about the situation going forward?
I wouldn't sign Aaron Rodgers, but if they do, I understand it because you'd be signing Rodgers to a 1-year deal.
Yeah, for sure.
Here's the thing, and I want to be very clear and concise when I say this. Mm-hmm. You can't hold these young quarterbacks accountable to the guys that have drawn outside the lines. And I mean, C.J. Stroud is a rookie. I mean, Jaden Daniels as a rookie. Like, you've got to give these guys an opportunity to develop and grow. And you can't do that if you play not to lose. Mm-hmm. Peyton Manning threw 25-plus interceptions as a rookie. What if Indy would have been a team that they thought could win a championship and they'd have been like, we just can't wait on Peyton. We got to get a vet in here. It's not going to turn. We never would have seen the greatness of Peyton Manning. So, this is going to be JJ's first year as a starter if he ends up being a starter. He needs the grace that you should give a first-year starter in the league. He should show flashes of brilliance. He should be better the second half of the season than he is the first. If he has a breakout C.J. Stroud year, all the better for Vikings fans. But I wouldn't get frustrated if he does struggle at times in his first year going through the National Football League.
Yeah, absolutely. And the one thing, I think it's a great fit for McCarthy. We saw flashes in the preseason, and I think one thing people aren't really talking about is the Vikings in free agency. I think those two pickups they got from the Colts, Will Fries and I can't remember the other guy they signed as well. Two huge acquisitions to an offensive line that I already believe is really, really good. Christian Darrisaw, left tackle. You got Dalton Reisner, product of 6-0 Academy, and Matt. Man, I mean, if JJ can figure it out, being basically a first-year starter again, and they have that patience with him, I think they're going to be pretty damn good under McCarthy. Shit.
And Bailey, they added Jordan Mason in a trade from San Francisco.
Yeah, got another running back.
People forget Jordan Mason had made people not really worry about when Christian McCaffrey was coming back until he got hurt. Remember how good he was running, and then he got banged up and he never got back healthy. So they re-signed Aaron Jones. They added Jordan Mason. I mean, you could argue outside the quarterback because that's still a blank space in on the board. They've got the best offensive group of talent from 1 to 10 of anybody in the National Football League.
Yeah, that's a great point.
DJ Hawkinson's a top 5 tight end. Justin Jefferson's a top 3 receiver. Jordan Addison is a top 10 number 2 receiver. I mean, that offensive line is definitely top 3, 4 in football. I mean, they got a really good group.
For sure. Absolutely. Well, we'll see. Aaron Rodgers, you don't think they'll go after Aaron Rodgers?
They might, and I would understand it. You bring him indoors. You're bringing him in to take a 1-year shot to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's true.
So I would get it. I wouldn't do it personally.
Right, absolutely. And I think they only do that if they don't think JJ's ready, if they think he needs.
I don't think it has anything to do with JJ. I think it has to do everything with Aaron.
Okay.
If they could give JJ another year behind Aaron Rodgers, take some of the expectation and pressure off of him from having to be a guy, as you mentioned, that's starting on a team. A lot of people think if they had experienced quarterback play as a Super Bowl contender, I think they would take that shot at a reasonable price. My thing with Aaron is this. I just think that's the one position where the guy's got to be all in, 10 toes down.
Yeah, absolutely.
And out of respect for how much bread Aaron has made and all the other things he got going on in his life, I just don't think football actually means that much to him. I think he wants to play because he likes the platform, but I don't think he wants to participate in all the things that people don't see that goes along with being a great team, meaning the OTA days, the mini camps, all of training camp. He don't really want to do all that stuff,
Yeah, and I mean, not to throw shade at him, he did miss mandatory mini camp last year with the Jets and whatnot. I think that you raised a good point there. Go ahead.
And Bailey, here's how it manifests itself. Remember early in the Jets season, how they had a couple delay of games, how he was sending hand signals to certain receivers, they weren't getting them. That's when he started really talking about he wanted Devontae Adams.
Right, yeah.
When you get reps on that, and OTAs a mini camp.
That's a great point. Well, there you have it. Yeah. Well, future Aaron Rodgers, we'll see. He's yet to make a decision. Cam Hayward today, I don't know if you saw, called him out saying, what would say, make a decision basically, which I thought was really interesting considering I believe Pittsburgh has an offer on the table for him reportedly. Nonetheless, we'll see with Aaron Rodgers. Shaun,